नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि द्वितीयंपि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि द्वितीयंपि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि द्वितीयंपि संघं शरणं गच्छामि तृतीयंपि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि तृतीयंपि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि तृतीयंपि संघं शरणं गच्छामि पाणातिपाता वीरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि अदिन्नदाना वीरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि कामेषु मिच्छाचारा वीरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि मूसावादा वीरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि सुरामेरयमज्जपमादठाणा वीरमणि सिक्खापदं समाधियामि सब्बपापस्सकरणं कुशलस्य उपसम्पदा सचित्तपर्योदपणम् एतं बुद्धानशासनं साधु साधु साधु।
Greetings, our viewers of Global Buddhist Congregation Dhamma Discourse online program. Today we are fortunate to have Venerable Dr. PANNABHOGA, who is currently the head of Tipitaka Studies of Chan State Buddhist University, Tongji, Myanmar. He is now in Thailand, so we have a good chance to ask him to deliver Dhamma Discourse. And today the topic of his talk will be on the wisdom of rain retreat, which is appropriate for the time being. Venerable, may I give you the floor to give the Dhamma talk. Thank you very much.
Let's pay homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Good evening, everyone. I am the Venerable PANNABHOGA from Chan State Buddhist University. Currently, I am now in Thailand, Bangkok. First, I would like to say a big thanks to the Global Buddhist Congregation, especially Dr. Hachadit Kamle and Ms. Ranjana Kamle as an organizer of Global Buddhist Congregation. And also I would like to say a big thanks to the organizer from Thailand, particularly Yom Sermsuk and Yom Apenya for inviting me in these special occasions. Today my topic is going to be wisdom of rain retreat. This year the rain retreat fall in on the 5th July of 2020. So in this wisdom of rain retreat, I'm not going to detail of the history background. Especially, I'm going to be dealing with the current situation in Theravada Buddhist country, such as Thailand, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, and also Laos. Originally, the rain retreats coming from the word Pali, from Vasa in Sanskrit, Vasa or Vasika. The Vasa from Pali and Sanskrit words means the rain retreats. Rain retreats is the 3-month periods for Buddhist monk to stay in only one place. Generally beginning the day after the full moon day of July, especially. On some year, it might be at the beginning of August. Mostly, the rain retreats fall in July. And one day after the full moon day of the 8 lunar months of July, and also the concluding the full moon day of the event of lunar months, usually in October, ending the Vasa or rain retreat. During this time, monks are required to remain in a residence in one place. During these 3 months, Buddhist monks and nuns are required to continue their study and practice. In this talk, I'm going to highlight the Sangha community, how they practice, how they learning the Buddhist scripture, and also how they put into practice both lay devotee and monastic communities. The first purpose of the ring retreats is the spiritual purpose. So as we earlier mentioned, the wisdom of ring retreat, the current situation, how the monastic community and lay community practice the Dhamma. The first is spiritual purpose. Now we can imagine that within the rainy seasons, from July, say from July to October, this is a good time for all Buddhists to intensively practice and also for develop and cultivate their devotions. First, I'm going to highlight the Sangha community. The first thing is the spiritual purpose. Why the Buddhist monk observe rainy retreat for 3 months. The thing is, they can put more into practice, learning Buddhist scripture, as well as practice meditations in dealing with the Dhamma and also propagating the Buddhism around the world. Since they are required to stay only one place, and all monastic life also, they are expected to study intensively Buddhist scripture and practice. They are not permitted to leave their monastery except for a special task. For example, even they are permitted to travel not more than 7 nights. Not more than 7 nights. Occasion that permitted for monks to be temporarily absent from their monastery, including the urgent personal matters such as illness, the death of one parent, and also an invitation to preach the Dhamma, like Dhammam Patsitom, Dhammam Tesitom, Buddham Patsitom. If any reason the resident required is not kept, the monk is not eligible to receive the Kathina robe donation at the end of rain retreat. So imagine that rainy retreat, they can intensively practice or learning the Buddhist scripture. So now it come to my mind that the spiritual purpose is the spirituality is to deal with in a sense of the connection, also interrelationship with something larger than ourselves. Then, apart from the spiritual purpose, within 3 months, the rain retreats, the wisdom of rain retreats, it is important that the rain retreat is considered as a secret, a special occasion for monastic life. This can give our life sense of meaning and purpose beyond material success. And those special moments, we have feel that connection more deeply that can provide an important source of strength and perspective of during difficult time. Now I'm going to highlight the learning Dhamma theory. Most monastic institutions like Pariyati Learning Center in Thailand, in Myanmar, also in Sri Lanka, more monastic life, Buddhist monks and nuns they can focus more on the teaching and learning the Dhamma, particularly during the rainy retreats. So from the olden time, the monastic students learn very hard, and many classes open and offer the teaching intensively during the Vassa or the rainy retreats. Or you can also say that the Buddhist land. The extensive scripture have been lovingly studied by generation of monks and nuns who have proceeded many commentary and treatises based on them. Now more and more Buddhist universities increase among Theravada Buddhist countries. So each Buddhist university also then focus more on the study intensive course during the Vassa. I would like to bring as an example in Myanmar. So many institutes, some institutes, we have over 500 Buddhist monks learning and studying the scripture. Some monasteries even have over 1,000. For example, like Masoyen Monastery in Mandalay and Mahakandayong in Amarapura in Mandalay. Over 1,000 Buddhist monks learning the scripture. Here, what I would like to say is they intensively focus more on the scripture deeply, especially during the rainy retreats. So some say that even at the end of the rain retreats, so the Buddhist monks and the student of monastic education, they can decide that whether they can pass or not at the end of the rainy retreat. That means they study more, and also many classes offer during the rainy retreats. So that is why I said that learning the Dhamma is more focused during the rainy retreats. Not only this, during the rainy retreats, the third point, what I would like to highlight here is living in harmonious community. It is very important. Start from the rainy retreat, either you stay alone or with community. As we are in the monastic institution, we will be staying with many Buddhist monks. For the nunnery, there are many nuns staying together. So living in the community is very important. Right from the beginning of the rainy retreat, because the one who is in harmonious, keeping his rainy retreat, observing for 3 months without breaking, and at the end of rainy retreat, he will be participating the pavarana, what we call constructive criticism. So that means you have to be in the harmonious community peacefully without having and disturbing others within the 3 months of periods. So constructive criticism is very important. Pavarana, even the senior monks, at the end of the rainy retreat, say the full moon day of October, all Buddhist monks, they must participate in the constructive criticism, what we call Pavarana Day. Inviting the junior monks whether they have seen or they have heard inappropriate way, misbehavior or something like that. So on that occasion, on the full moon day of October, the senior monk invite all the junior monks to criticize or to point out the right way, what they have done during the 3 months, say the rainy retreats. Like Sankampande, Pawaremi, Titenawa, Sudenawa, and Parisankayawa, and so on, inviting with very kind heart, please, Venerable, kindly be invited to give the constructive criticisms. So when we come to see the Pavarana, it is not just at the end of rainy retreat. Right, the beginning from the very rainy retreat, starting from July, the full moon day of the July. So that is why for the Buddhist community, I highlight in the current situation, the monastic community, first, the spiritual purpose to practice intensively. The second, to learn the Buddhist scripture and doing the reading intensively, and also living in the harmonious community. This is for the Sangha communities. Now, I also would like to highlight for the lay communities, right at the beginning from the rainy retreat, the same thing as the monastic community practice. So the lay community also, they can put into practice for devotional level. Initially, devotional level. For example, during the Vasa, there were Buddhist people in Thailand, in Myanmar, in Sri Lanka, in Cambodia, of course, in Laos. They focus the location of devotional acts, like doing the chanting. Even before the Vasa, I have seen in Thailand, some monastery, some temple, they have already run the chanting group already. In Myanmar, we have Dhamma Vudyut Atin in Burmese. This is the chanting group. In Sri Lanka, in Cambodia, in Laos. So when you come to see in Theravada Buddhist country, for the devotional level, you may see more chanting group doing especially on the Uposatha day, like full moon or new days. So devotee may come to the temple and join the chanting group. They may chant Dhamma, especially Dhammacakka Pavattana chanting. In Sri Lanka, they will chant the protective chant. Like a spirit in Sri Lankan, we call Parita chanting. Of course, in Myanmar also, there are many lay people have joined the group, what we call chanting group or Dhammasacca, Vudyut Atin. So they chant in Pali, or they chant like a poetic chanting from the olden time. So when we see the community develop their devotions, we can see not only the chanting, they also make a strong decision to, the giving the dana. For example, in Thailand, some they decided to offer alms food every day without breaking for 90 days in Thailand. So I personally, as I have been in Thailand for many years, some year I I personally met a devotee that the house owner, they say that we decided to offer alms food every day without breaking, especially for 90 days. So when we come to see it, like bowing to the Buddha, chanting, the cultivating or reflect the quality of the Buddha, like chanting and offering, and in Thailand, I think almost every monastery run the chanting group that can be seen. Not only this, we can also see that during the Vasa, individually, some say, for example, they may stop, without using the alcohol or without doing any harm. Especially, we can see this kind of thing they put into practice individually. This is for the devotional level, for the lay community. Now, I would like to move on to the next ethical level, like giving dana, such offering to the monastic life, Buddhist monks and nuns. Now, the primary ethical activity which a Buddhist learn to develop is giving dana. So this included the earlier that giving dana, not only offering alms food to the monks, maybe like feeding the food to the animal, the fish, and many other animals in the zoo, which form the basics for further moral and spiritual developments. So what I would like to say here for the second point, in the Theravada Buddhism, it is the first 10 base of affecting karmic fruitfulness. The key focus of giving is the monastic sangha, like offering alms to the sangha, which depend on the laity for such items, alms food, robe, medicines, and accommodation, what we call 4 basic needs. And also the moral virtues as an ethical level. Moral virtue, in Buddhism, moral virtue we call sila in Pali. It is the foundation of spiritual path, though a fixed clinging to the rule and observance, as they are alone were the whole of the path, is seeing the hindrance factor. The virtue, the sila, is seen to generate freedom from remorse, and this helps a person to develop on through gladness and joy to meditative calm, insight, and liberation. So, keeping in the precepts. Now, for the ethical level, keeping precepts, 5 precepts, or 8 precepts, like Uposatha Sila. So, some monastery, for example, in Myanmar, Siam State more, some people come to the, as I mentioned earlier, then for the devotional level and ethical level. For ethical level, in short, like for the Buddhist practice, giving dana, offering alms food to the monks, and also giving for necessity, offering alms food and robe and medicines, and also accommodations to the monastic community, to the sangha. And also moral virtues can be considered as an ethical level that lay devotees can cultivate during the rainy retreat. So the next one is keeping precepts. keeping precept, like I said earlier, some, for example, in Myanmar, on the full moon day, people may come to the temple and keeping the 5 precepts, 8 precepts, or 9 precepts, Uposatha Sila. Some may go to the meditation center to practice for a short term. So when the Buddhist practice ethical level, the next point is I would like to highlight for meditative life. So in Myanmar, we have hundreds of meditation centers, even thousands. Even we are not sure how many exactly. Now more and more meditation centers increasing. Now when we observe during the rain retreat, and more practitioners come to meditation center. In Theravada Buddhist countries, a forest monastery usually consists of a simple wooden meeting or sharing room and kuti, or even the cave as dwelling. It is usual for monks specializing in the meditation to adhere in the Vinaya more strictly, and they may also undertake at least temporarily some of the 13 Tutanga. Now, for the meditative level, during the rain retreat, both monastic community and lay communities, upasaka and upasika, and more practitioners practice meditation during the vasa, at least on the Uposatha day or observant day. They came to the temple keeping precept, 8 precept and 9 precept, and practice meditation at the temple or meditation center. In Shan State, we have we call non-jong is temple sleeping. We should say the temple sleeping. You know, even in the village, you know, the devotees may come and keep precept at the temple. They even stay overnight at the temple with practicing meditation and keeping the 9 precept, 8 precept on Uposatha day. And the next day after Uposatha day, they may return home and continue their works. What I would like to point out here is wisdom of rainy retreat. That means people, Buddhist people, practice meditation more than any other time, because during the rain retreats, they have done their house, the housework like farming, planning, growing the vegetables, and then they have more time during the rainy retreat. So that is why in Buddhist country, and more people also practice meditation during the Vasa or rainy retreats for 3 months. Regarding this, some meditation open only the Vasa. Some meditation, they will run the program the whole years long, but some meditation center, they run the meditation class, special class, only during the rain retreats, 3 months of periods. So when we come to observe more and more Buddhist people practice meditation in the special occasion, rainy retreats. So now we come to know that rainy retreats, not only for Buddhist monks, for their spiritual purpose, even for the lay community also, they practice intensively. Now, for the meditation level, I would like to highlight another point. Within the rain retreats, both community, monks and nuns, upasaka and upasika, we can strengthen our spiritual practice, and also we can strengthen the relationship between monastic life and lay communities. Why? We can see that for the lay community, as I earlier mentioned, that devotional level, they have cultivated devotional level and ethical level, and also they put more into practice for meditative life. So when we observe both community, monks and nuns, and upasaka and upasika, lay community, we strengthen our relationship among ourselves to propagate Buddhism for the years to come. So this social relationship is very important. Monks, monastic alone cannot propagate Buddhism without the support from lay community. So within the rainy retreats for 3 months, monastic life also, they receive support from, as a 4 basis needs, they receive from the supporter, devotees. The same things, the lay community also, they receive special teachings from the venerable monks and nuns. Why? Because many Dhamma class, like learning and teaching scripture, are open within the rainy retreats. The students, both monastic students and lay community students, they can learn a lot within in the rainy retreats. Now we can compare the Sangha community, monastic life, and the lay community. So when we see the monastic life within the rainy retreats, as a wisdom of rain retreat, we have more time to practice, we have more time to learn and study the scripture, and for the individual, we may have more time to practice meditation without social engagement, without many activities. We can also see that the lay community, they can cultivate their devotions, like doing the chanting, giving dana, offering alms food to the monastery, to the monks who goes for alms round every day, and also preserve, keeping the precepts, 8 precepts, 9 precepts, and also they practice more meditation, especially in the rain retreat for 3 months. So now when we see both sides, as you know that there are four audience, Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni, Upasaka and Upasika, monks and nuns, lay devotees and lay women devotees. So the four audience, we have, good connections to support each other, especially in the rainy retreat. So we can come to say that we strengthen our relationship to propagate Buddhism. This social relationship is very important to propagating the Buddha Sasana or the Buddha's teaching. For example, in Myanmar, more Dhamma talks organized. For example, I think on the full moon day, almost the temples, they have the Dhamma program. Some monasteries, they organize the Dhamma talk for the local people, local communities. And they have much more opportunity to listen to the Dhamma and to listen to the talks from the venerable in different levels. For example, in Mandalay, there are many Dhamma talk organizing happen during the rainy retreat. And not only this, even in the public holiday in Myanmar, the school and the government office are closed on the full moon day or new moon day of the Uposatha day in Myanmar. So, as we say that the rainy retreat is considered as a sacred period of time. So the public holiday also, in the Myanmar calendar, within the rainy retreat from July to October. So most public holiday will be in the full moon day and new moon day of a month. So in this way, by reflecting the Buddha's time, so we can bring the wisdom into the rainy retreat. So that is why in the earlier I said I will not talk about much about the history background of the rainy retreat, as the topic is the wisdom of rainy retreat. So now we can reflect from the Buddha's time, then at the present day, what the Buddhist community, both monastic life and lay life, how they devote their lives into the practice, how they cultivate the mental culture, bhavana. In short, Dana, Sila, Bhavana, giving, and also as a devotional level, and preserving the precepts for ethical level, and for the individual, cultivating the mind for the mental culture. So we can bring the wisdom into the rainy retreat. Now we can see that in the current situation in Theravada Buddhist country, Thailand, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, and of course Laos. So when we see for the monastic life, Bhikkhu and Bhikkhuni, monks and nuns, they practice as a spiritual practice individually and also in the community. Also learning the scripture deeply. Like I earlier mentioned that in Thailand also, they may have like Dhamma Siksa. They study intensively in the rainy retreats, 3 months periods of the time. And also in Sri Lanka, we have the Parivena, like the monastic education center. They study more during the rainy retreats. And also the living in harmonious community, peacefully, without having the distractions among ourselves, from one monastery and to the other monastery. Because in Thailand, when the very beginning, when they observe the rainy retreat, they pay respect. They pay respect to the senior monks, the same area. And also, if you are observing rainy retreats individually, you stay alone, then you may have time to put more into practice. For example, like Venerable Kuwa Wunjung, he practiced intensively in the cave. So either you are observing the vasa alone or in the community, you put more into practice, especially in the rainy retreats. Now we come back to the lay communities. So for the Buddhist practice, they increase or they promote their devotion. Like I said, devotional level, running the chanting group, chanting the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, chanting the Anattalakkana Sutta, and also running the Dhamma class. This is, we can say that for the devotional level. For the ethical level, you keep the 8 precepts or 9 precepts for Uposatha Sila, and also meditative level. Lay people may practice meditation more than any other time, as we can see in the Buddhist country. Why? Because at the end of rainy retreat and from October and November onward, more people will be busier than any other time. That is one of the reasons within the rainy retreat, the Upasaka and Upasika, lay people may practice more meditation. So now we come to conclude the topic is wisdom of rain retreats. So we can reflect from the time of the Buddha up to the present. The 2,600 years, or every year, 2,000 years ago, 2,600 years, monastic community, monks and nuns have been continuously observing their vasa rainy retreat, especially from July to October, every year. And also we can come to say that both monastic community and lay community strengthen, they keep more energies, they study more, they learn the Buddhist scripture more than any other time, and also many other opportunities. The monks also stay only one place without traveling very often. He can focus more practice individually, and he may also have more opportunity to deliver the talk to the local people. The same things, the local community also, as a lay devotees, they may have more opportunity to listen to the Dhamma. They may have more opportunity to stay closer, very close connection with monastic life. So I would like to conclude with the Dhammapada from the Magga Dhammapada 277. Sabbe sankhara anicca yatta panyaya pasati atta nipping tati dukkhe esa makko visuktiya. This is very nice verse. All conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path to purification. So, as the topic said, wisdom of rain retreats. So, within the rainy retreat, if we see things with the wisdom, the one who sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This is the path to purification. Or you can also translate, all created things perish. He who knows and sees this become passive in pain. This is the way to purity. So we can finally conclude that within the rainy retreat or Vasa or Vasavasika, Buddhist land or rain retreat, whatever you call, we try to cultivate our mind as for the mental culture to purify ourselves and also to practice our compassion and loving kindness. So may I conclude that Sabbe sankhara anicca yatta panyaya pasati atta nipping tati dukkhe esa makko visuttiya. Sabbe sankhara dukkhati yatta panyaya pasati atta nipping tati dukkhe esa makko visuttiya. Sabbe sankhara anattati yatta panyaya pasati atta nipping tati dukkhe esa makko visuktiya. All conditioned things are impermanent. All conditioned things are unsatisfactoriness. All conditioned things are no soul, no self. When one sees this with wisdom, he turns away from suffering. This is the path to purification. Thank you everyone.